We are going to take a look at all the different versions of Marvel's Star Wars issue number 1 from, I believe, late 1976. It's before the movie came out. We have a facsimile edition of the first issue, the way it originally appeared. We have my trade paperback collected edition of the movie adaptation that I got signed by Roy Thomas and Howard Chaykin. We have the version that came in the Omnibus collection, so we'll take a look at that. And then we have the Marvel Treasury-sized edition. This is issues 1 and 2. This adapts the film. And then issue 3 is the combination of issues 1 and 2 together. We'll see if there's any changes that came in this one. So right off the bat, the cover is only on the original issue and the Omnibus reprint. And there is no difference except the Omnibus reprints the price exactly as it appeared, 30 cents. There was a 35-cent price variant that is very rare and very expensive, and it omits the new Marvel logo and UPC symbol. The trade paperback does not reprint the cover, just goes right into the comic. Same with the Treasury edition, but it does have its own cover. So let's compare. Well, at least to get the color for Darth correct, he is black, or blue, I should say, whereas in the original cover, he is green. This, of course, is based on one of the original posters, a painted cover originally. This is an illustrated adaptation of that. This is wholly original, with Leia in black, Han in orange. Luke has a red lightsaber, and so does Obi-Wan. Look, even in the corner, red lightsaber. That's pretty cool. Whereas on the Treasury edition, it is white. And in issue 3, the collected Treasury, it also does not reprint the cover. So the inside cover of the original issue would have this advertisement for fun tricks and free things that you could mail away for. And I wish I had that, or at least a copy of the original issue, or something better than just this trade paperback edition when I met writer Roy Thomas and penciler Howard Chaykin, because what a piece of junk to get signed by the two of them. And why sign it with a black Sharpie on a black background? What are you people thinking? Yes, this was years ago, and I guess they hadn't realized you should be signing with silver or something. I don't know. It's my fault. Why did I get this thing? But it does have this opening crawl, which is not in the comic, so that's something extra, I guess. The Omnibus edition goes right into the story. The Treasury edition has its own inside cover. It's basically just a contents page for what is to come. And issue 3, the collected edition, they just have this shot from the end of the movie. So this is what the original first page looked like, well, updated for facsimile purposes. The crappy trade paperback version completely omits the first page. Why? The Omnibus edition reprints exactly the way it was. The Treasury does as well, but as you can see, it is much larger. They add a chapter 1. They don't put adapted from the George Lucas film. They also don't put Mary Severin colorist. Interesting, those are omitted. And the collected edition is quite different in the way they formatted this page. As you can see, the top has been chopped off. It's different. The bottom, they've included the indicia, so they've cut off the bottom of the art. Interesting. So as we get into the actual story, let's take a look at the differences in the coloring they did for the original version and the trade paperback. Completely recolored. The original is brighter with red backgrounds. The trade paperback reprint is more subdued with earthy tones. I think they were going for more movie accurate colors as well. As you can see, blue Darth Vader becomes black. The multicolored Rebel Trooper in his shades of orange get more movie accurate colors. Interesting again. So that's something with the trade paperback. I guess it isn't all garbage. You get a new take on the coloring. The Omnibus keeps the original colors. I think the Omnibus is the way to go. The Treasury also keeps the original colors, and it is much larger. So you could go for the Treasury. I mean, big is cool. And the collected edition is pretty much identical. I see no differences. And now in the facsimile edition, we get our advertisements. Karate, bodybuilding. They know their audience. None of these other editions have these original ads. So the facsimile edition is also a good purchase if you want something extra. Let's look at our coloring updates between the original version and the trade paperback reprint from our deleted scene from Tashi Station in Anchorhead. Instead of just focusing on Luke and Biggs, since Fixer and Cammy are also talking, they've colored them in to let them pop as well. And here is the best part. They've given Biggs his blue shirt that he had in the deleted scene, as opposed to this red burgundy color. I don't know what that, I mean, talk about deleted, not only cut from the film, but not even in his correct colors. Here is a nice gigantic treasury look at red-shirted Biggs. I do love the customizing van advertisements from the 70s. At last, you can fly like Spider-Man. And here in the facsimile edition, we get this 6-issue prospectus on the movie adaptation of the film. They talk about George Lucas, American Graffiti, Alec Guinness, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Peter Cushing, Anthony Daniels, Kenny Baker, Peter Mayhew, and Dave Prowse. Look, they list everybody. Remember, this is before the movie came out. It's 2 pages worth. This is really definitely worth getting. The omnibus does reprint this part here, so okay, that's good, that's good. People want that. The Marvel Fan Magazine, Slim Jim ads, and Grit, of course, Grit. Karate and Star Trek, man, now there's a 1-2 punch. And then we get the Marvel bullpen bulletins. Here's Stan Lee talking to you about all kinds of Star Wars goodness, and a Hostess fruit pie ads, or I'm sorry, Twinkies ad with Spider-Man and Madam Web. What? That doesn't look like Madam Web. No, wait a minute. This is not, huh? Oh, okay, wow. So look, this is not Madam Web as we know her. The Madam Web from Spider-Man comics did not debut until 1981. This is 1976. Look, it's like a prototype version of Madam Web. Is the world aware of this version? Boy, that's interesting. I'm going to have to compare this with the first appearance of the real Madam Web. Future video idea. And so the story in the first issue ends with this cliffhanger of the Tusken Raider Sand Person about to brain Luke. Next issue, on to Alderaan. And here's the different colors for the trade paperback reprint, also with the next issue onto Alderaan caption removed, because it's going to just continue on with the story. The first volume of the Treasury also omits that caption because the story continues, as this collects the first 3 issues of the adaptation, as does volume 3 because this collects all 6 issues of the adaptation. We end with a few more advertisements, bodybuilding again and fishing, and then we have our back cover, an advertisement to buy basketballs. Did they really need to advertise that? This is the boring back cover to the Dark Horse trade paperback reprint edition. The back cover of this first volume of the Omnibus collection. There are 3 of these. I have them all, and they reprint all 107 issues. This volume has the first 44 issues and the first annual. The back cover to the first volume of the Treasury edition has this really interesting illustration with another red lightsabered Luke Skywalker and a red cloaked Princess Leia. Look at Chewbacca's feet! Here's the back cover to Treasury Volume 2. It looks like Darth Vader's wearing a giant tomato. And the back cover to the Treasury Edition Volume 3 features a combination of a couple of the movie scenes. So that's our quick look at the differences, or lack thereof, of the different editions of Marvel's Star Wars issue number 1. Definitely not as varied as all the different versions I showed in the copies of Battlestar Galactica issue 1 and its iterations. So if you want to see that, check out those videos. Until next time, see ya!